So whatever you guys, the PyCon team has done, it's actually very amazing. I hope in 2026, I hope you're hosting PyCon Africa. I'll be back. Uh, so, let me, okay, I believe I should start with a disclaimer. How many people attended the workshop I had down there? Whoa, okay, nice. At least 5 people. Oh. So you're a new crowd. I can recycle my jokes. Okay, so my PyCon, this is PyCon Africa at the moment. We'll be referencing to PyCon Africa. Uh, my name is Felix Jumason. That is in here, in Africa. But back home, they usually call me Blackie. I guess it's because I'm handsome and black, but who knows? My friend, do you have an iPhone? Yeah, check me your photo, check me your photo. So I'm Felix Jumason. The session on the schedule was consuming and building APIs in Python, but I sort of had to just make it simple. APIs in Python. We might have a demo, in quotation might, but I'll ensure you leave here smiling. If not having, I will have said stickers, but the guys down there have finished everything. But we'll still reach there. So I'm a postman student leader. I'll also give a talk about that, snippet about it. I'm targeting students. You don't have the fling fling. Next time. So I need somebody with an iPhone. I've come to Kampala, I've seen so many MacBooks than my entire life. You guys have money. Everybody's having a MacBook. Do you know in Kenya seeing a developer with a MacBook? The ones I know, you guys have MacBooks. So I need a favor. iPhone? 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 Please come. iPhone? No, it's an iPhone. It's a phone. Okay. The I is silent. Any iPhone? Yeah, you have one. Come here. I want to do a special tribute to my mom. The postman one will do it later, but I want to do on 3. I want you to record something that I'll be saying. Okay, you just tell me. Hello, Mom. You've always believed in me. And guess what? I'm at PyCon Africa for the first time ever. I'm not even a Python developer, but I'm at Python Africa. Thank you for always believing in me. And I'll be back home. I haven't seen you in a very long while, but I'm coming home. Cat. That's to my mom. She has always believed in me. So a shout out to Postman. Without Postman, I won't be able to attend Python. Community work pays. That's one thing. Community work pays. They have sponsored my trip to Africa, and I'm here. So we are going to have a very short but nice ride, talk about APIs, and focus on venturing into API literacy with the students at Uganda. Wow. What is an API? For the guys in the morning session, what is an API? I do love sessions to be interactive. I don't want to speak alone. So I don't know if there is an extra mic that can just pass around. And who knows, like the most active, the most person who will shock me in a nice way, not in a weird way, in a nice way. You'll get this. I'm sorry, I didn't come with Postman Mash, but I have a Postman shirt. Postman 101, API 101. It fits anybody. Anybody. Yeah, it fits anybody. Even me, I'm so skinny, but it will fit me. So I will prefer to leave it in Accra, our Accra. So activity. So what is API?
API, the term of API is Application Programming Interface. In the analogy you gave us, it was an API is like a waiter in a restaurant where the back end is being supported by API to transfer data to the front end.
Okay, you're right. But one thing is, I don't want the guys who are in my session. Those guys have the leakage of everything that I'm able to say. I want fresh blood.
Okay, mic check.
There is a lady far.
This gentleman.
Boy child, say it.
Okay. Oh, I get to use this special mic. All right. Okay, my name is Davis. I wasn't in the morning session, but what I know about an API, it's like, as it stands, an application programming interface. It's a set of rules that governs communication between two independent systems. That's what I can think about an API.
Okay. My lady. And one thing, I'll have to look for some funds, come back to Kampala for vacation in Mbarara.
Hello everyone, my name is Aparo Cecilia. Of course, I'm not going to say anything far away from what he had in mind. So it's a set of rules that just govern how different softwares communicate with each other.
Okay. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. Because actually, the first time, you're not in my session. Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Armstrong Muhwezi. I'm a senior backend developer, but I'm going to just try and explain as if I would explain to a 5-year-old. So, yeah, I want us to, I want to learn from you, and also you learn from me a little bit. So what I would understand as an API would be, think of a kitchen and a doorway to the kitchen. So this would be like a window into the kitchen whereby the waiter, I don't want to use the waiter bit, but so I want to make this feel like, so the middleman or the intermediary between you, the user, and the application. So it allows you to make a request, interact with the application, processes your requests, and gives you back data, because that's what the user cares about.
Nice, nice. As a 5-year-old, you should be clapping for him. He has GPT'd us. It's nice. It's a pleasure. I'm in front of a senior. I start feeling nervous. This guy is senior. So basically an API, we have the analogy of being the waiter. It connects the client to the kitchen. For these, this is my first stage that has so many screens. So you can see the backend APIs. We have an API management system, and then we have some devices. We can say like the devices are the clients. They'll be sending a request, and then they'll get a response. So basically an API, it will connect your application to third-party, we call them what, providers or something. So it is basically just the gateway to a land of milk and honey, as in the Bible. So in this API is a application programming interface. Software has become more complex and stuff, so like API is what simplifies. Let's say I'm building for Ugandans. I don't know, in our country, we have some people who we hate their KRA. They usually tax everything. But I'm building for Ugandans. I don't know your KRA URL. They have the same name. I believe they're worse than ours. I hope I don't get cancelled or get deported. So I'm building for you guys. Let's say a fintech. Of course, government will want taxes and stuff. Building a fintech, I believe it's so fucking... sorry. I just believe it's hard, complex and stuff. I'll have to consume a URI API for tax. The guys in mobile banking and stuff. So like, it's complex. To simplify these, I can't build a structure from my own architecture and structure from the bottom. I'll have to consume them. They have already built it. So it's just me to consume it. You've got. I believe you're all together. We are all somewhere. This talk doesn't have that much of content of a senior, but I want it to be so interesting that, that handsome guy said this. Yeah? So if I say right now, currently, as the guys on the phone, they are consuming an API, will I be wrong? They are consuming an API in a way, just at the phone. Let me pick, most of us, we are Gen Zs. So let me associate it with one of the most application for Gen Zs. And Instagram. Instagram, you consume an API every time you take a photo. And every time you post, you're consuming an API. Whereby your camera is a third party, sort of a native, but a third party. So like, for Instagram to access your camera, or your photo, or your gallery, there's sort of an API there between. So we are all consuming APIs. We should be loving APIs. Students should have API literacy. They should understand what is APIs. Why Python for APIs? I'm not a Python developer. I will have said my stack, but people will say that it has so many imposters. Let me call them imposters, because I believe right now, if I stand in Kampala and throw a stone, I will hit one of the guy who will claim he's doing my stack. But also, I've come to PyCon Africa. I've seen so many data scientists, data analysts, data engineer, data. I used to think this thing is in JavaScript. JavaScript, you have so many frameworks. After every 2 weeks, there's a framework which comes alive. But I've come here, I've seen data. I'm also a data analyst. I went through a boot camp. So why Python for APIs? One, readability. I found creating an API in Python, it's very readable. A 5-year-old can write Python. Can write a hello world in Python. Yeah? So there is that readability. You get? It's not that complex like in Node. In Node, you have to import these. There's that readability. It's wealth of frameworks. My first framework for the web was Django. Yeah, Django. I used to call it the Django. It was Django. I have built a to-do app in Django somewhere in Railway before they started prioritizing everything, monetizing it. One of the pains I had was in Django was on, I believe they're called, your routing is called what? Views, they're called views. Django ladies, beautiful ladies of Django. Friends of Django. Yeah. Hey, I used to write Django some time back before I went to that language. In back home, we call it JavaScript. It has so many Java. Hey, Swahili? No? Okay. We'll try next time. So it has, another point, it has a huge community support. I've seen her. I've interacted with her. Hi.
Hey, I'm Jovianavka.
Okay, so by approximation, are you a data scientist? Okay, by approximation, how many people have attended PyCon Africa?
For this,
We're in Accra right now.
about 120 people.
120 people. 120 people in a conference. A four-day conference. Five-day conference. Actually, I feel bad that I'm speaking today, because if I speak, PyCon is ending. So I feel a bit bad. You have said how many?
120.
120. That's a huge. I was in a conference for. Okay, I was in Rendacon, Kenya. Day one, we had less than that number. That's a huge community. All of you, I've had teachers from saying a word called Pythonistas. Eish. I used to think of only Googlers Googlers are the weird freaks, but Pythonistas. I love the name. Indulge me into your cult. Introduce me into your cult. So that's a huge support. Like from here, you can network with somebody, get some skills and stuff. Choosing the right framework. Choosing the right framework. So one, we say that the language is rich. It has different frameworks. From lunch, I had a session. I had a talk or a chat with a couple of guys. They'll say that framework. You should not know the framework. Frameworks should be tools, not a framework engineer. So choosing the right framework. I'll start with Flask, which I've never done, but my friends have done. And during creating the slides, I took some notes from them. They say it is minimal, gives flexibility, it's ideal, simple, and minimal overhead. Fast API is the one that we'll base our whole session on. It's fast. What's the difference between fast and REST API? Anyone? Fast API and RESTful API or REST API. Where? Hello? Are we there? Chief? Hello? Fast and REST? Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Triza. I'm talking about the REST APIs. These are functions that are used to access data from servers.
And what about fast APIs? Okay, you've tried.
Someone is here?
Yes.
I don't think it's loud. So Fast API is a framework like Flask or Django that is used to create APIs. And then REST API is an architecture that is used to create APIs. It's like a set of rules that you use to create APIs.
What size do you wear? Excel. Okay. We'll send it through email. For real. For real. It's almost there. I think you've confused. I'm used to Swahili. You've confused me a bit. You've confused me a bit. Because I remember like the difference is actually in the syntax. I don't know now which one does the syntax and which one doesn't have the syntax. I've told you you've confused me. I owe you something. You've heard. I will see me after this. So let's talk about fast APIs. They are fast, just from the word fast. Async ready. You can write asyncs and stuff. Comes with automatic Open API documentation. I have a screenshot about it. Swagger. It's called Swagger. It's nice. It means you don't need Postman for you to test your APIs. Best for performance. And the rest, Django REST framework, best when you already have a Django application for those ladies in Django, brothers of Django, friends of Django. You can build APIs with that. It comes with authentication and serialization. So this is a joke, but I don't know why he placed it here. I think I would have. Okay, choosing a framework is like choosing a pizza. Some like it thin, like Flask. Others like it fully loaded or thick, like Django REST. Either way, it always goes to be delicious. You're not laughing. So we are going to do some basic stuffs. The guys in my morning session know the drill, but in this one we don't have the jokes. Hello. This is just explaining what API, resource services, it's what, and we have a network. So the client is an application, or even can be you. You send a request for a resource, maybe authentication, maybe you are searching about something on the net or Jumia. Then a request will be sent to the server, hit the server, and then it will respond by a response. So this is what API is basically. Ooh. Don't know. Okay. So making requests. I'm going to talk about a few requests and also add some information about the few requests. We have the address or endpoints, and the path. So on request, this is what in if you know Postman, this is how you can test an API. We have the method. The method can be get, put, post, patch, delete. Get retrieves information. Post sends information. Put and patch updates information. Whereby put updates the whole information, while patch updates a single, maybe only the ID. You have the delete. And when you see there is the HTTPS, which is a protocol. We have the host, which will be google.com, www.google.com, and have a path search. That's how endpoint is. So yours can be PyCon. It's pycon.org/schedule. The schedule is the path. The one before the schedule, it's the host, and then the HTTPS is the protocol. We can try injection to see if their site is nice. So always, I have a joke. So what we're going to do, the guys who are in the morning sessions, I'm seeing you, you're not going to answer. I'll have to talk to you later on. I want to see if these guys will get the joke. The joke goes for this t-shirt. For this t-shirt. It's a very simple joke. My joke is, why do APIs make good friends? Why do APIs make good friends? Anyone? Yes.
I think maybe because some of them are restful.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Why do APIs make good friends? Sir?
Because they are fast.
Mic check.
There's one here? Okay. Yes.
It's a joke, right?
Okay. Ladies first, or you want it?
Okay, let me go first. It's a joke, right? So
It's a joke, but it might have been a work application. Will you let
okay, I would say because they return a favor, they return the favor, or they return.
the return? Okay.
Because they always communicate to each other.
I think they make good friends because they are good listeners. You make a request and they're able to respond accordingly.
Come here in front. I have to take a photo with you while I hand you over my shirt. This is unique. Nobody has in the whole conference. My lady, please, the shirt is yours. I told you it can fit anyone. My friend in PyCon Uganda. iPhone, please. Where's an iPhone? Okay. Yes. Yeah. It can wait. When the photographer reaches here, you look for me. I have to update Postman on this. I went to Uganda. Uganda are very nice people. Very. Let's first take with. I don't know. It's if it's not iPhone, is it Pixel? Samsung. Okay. Please, I'm proud of you. I've given out all the shirts. I can give out my hoodie if you impress me. Thank you. Nice. APIs are good friends because they always respond. Unlike my friends in Kenya, we call them nyokes. You might be in need, but nobody will come at your aid. So they always respond. Due to that, like, I'm going to talk about the data types that they can return. We have data format. We have JSON, which is the most common one and mostly used. We have text. We have HTML, XML, files, GraphQL, and more to be continued. So as you can see, on your lower right, there's a photographer. My lady, where are you from? Where are you from? Yeah? Where are you from? Like, you know the country. Oh, you're outside Nakuru, outside Kampala. Kampala. Oh. But I'm going to, it's called Mbarara.
Oh.
API 101. Nice, thank you. Okay. I don't have any other shirt. So don't. I only have that guy's shirt. So I told you like my entire presentation will be based on API, on fast APIs. So fast APIs type hints for input validation. Like it gives you those hints while you are building it. This is not my machine, but I believe we have a demo somewhere you will see, or I'll share the GitHub repo. It has built-in asynchronous support, handles multiple requests efficiently without blocking the server. That's a nice feature. There are some languages, JavaScript has it. Auto-generated documentation. Actually, this is my best feature because I don't need to go to Postman to document my code. I can document it in, it's called what? Swagger. It will be your local URL. I believe it runs on port 8000/docs. You'll get the Swagger whereby you can test your API in real time. You can test your API, see what kind of data, and also like what kind of data it needs. So you can test your API without you bringing it back to Postman and stuff. Dependency injection simplifies the inclusion of dependencies like databases and authentication services. In my stack authentication, we have to import it differently. npm install Lucia auth. So Python guys. We also have the databases. In the demo, I've used SQLite. Siko acha kujifanya mzungu bana. We are Africans. So this is what I was saying. In this demo, I believe it is I was just playing around with it. I created it's an inventory API, but has authentication, registration authentication. One can log in, log out, list of items that are in the database, can delete an item, can update an item. So it's very nice. How many minutes do I have? 5. Wow. Oh, okay. I'm missing a slide. It happens. So the Swagger, you were able to document your API and stuff. It's very nice. It has a very nice interface, and you can also, I believe it's self-hosted. Some best practices for API development. While you are creating endpoints for your API, please, for future of maintenance, a company can hire you, but it doesn't mean that you'll stay in that company for all the years. There are some guys who will come later on after you to maintain the code and stuff. While you are naming the endpoints, be clear. That's why I've slashed to, you're able to see. There is the good example. if it is an endpoint for users to get the users list, just say users. Don't put something there, get all users who have registered, get all users who have not confirmed registration. That's a whole sentence. If you want to write sentences, you can do it in literature. You can be a poet, a author, a book author, a technical writer. But this is coding. Please use simple words. All users. Items. Not hey. Items. Wait. Hey. Okay, it pains me because there's a gig I was working on, and whatever I was seeing, I was like, hey. Who wrote these? Who wrote these? Another one. Use appropriate HTTP methods. Most common methods are usually two. Get and post. A simple question. What's the difference between a get and a post? This is the brave one. Please tell us, what are you doing in tech?
Oh, I'm a junior developer. That's in JavaScript. Okay, I'm going to talk about get and post. I think in two contexts, as in for a front end person and then for a back end person. Like if you're doing front end, you would like to use get, whereby you're not going to send sensitive information to the server. Like maybe you're sending login information like a username and password. You would prefer using a post request so that you put that in a request body rather than having the password appear in a request URL. But I think for the back end kind of scenario, the get request I think is interpreted as a request that comes in to fetch something. And then a post request is a request that is supposed to come in as in with something. So you expect a body with a post request. But with a get request, you just say like, get me all users. And then you just reply with the data.
That's nice. If you've listened to him, like, that explains why you'll never get get requests sending passwords and personal information to the server. It's usually post, because the data, whatever is being sent, will be binded to the body, while on the get is usually binded on the query, the URL query. So if the data is sent, I've tried it, you can see the email, the password, if the password is not hashed and stuff. So you're able to see the data, and somebody can hack you or sell your data like Google. But who knows? So also handle errors gracefully. I have loved the motto on the Postman shirt, not Postman, but PyCon shirts. They say errors should never pass silently. That's nice. You use TypeScript. Yeah, we have TypeScript for that. Yeah. So secure your APIs. We have OAuth. We have JSON Web Tokens. Also, how backend developers banter front-end developers is that never trust any data coming from the front end. Actually, it's true. Never trust any data. So, okay. This is my last slide. Okay, I don't know why, but I expected students to be in this session. So this is a PSL program where you can share it with your friends in campus. If you're doing your master's, you can also join. If you're in high school, I've heard you're going until Form 6. You can also join. So basically, PSL is a program for API literacy. They enable you to learn APIs. So for this one, for the Postman program, when you scan this QR code, very nice QR code that nobody's noticing is nice, and it has the shape like Postman, it takes you to an academy, a Postman Academy. In the Postman Academy, you have to do a course called API Fundamentals. I covered it in the morning. In the API Fundamentals, after you'll get a certificate for that course. That's one. You'll get a badge to share on your social. After that, you're eligible to apply for a PSL post in your campus or in your city. And sparks of these posts is that one, you'll get swags. Those guys who are swag obsessed or they have swag fever. You'll be getting swags. You can host events. You can get funded to host an event. Previously, we hosted a API Fest in my school. We got some funding, and also the parks you'll be in an exclusive community of very different people. Let me say it with different people because we are a mix. We are both Africans and all the rest of the world, whereby you interact with different people, you learn from different people. I've come here, I've interacted with most of the guys. I've learned your language, but it's a bit hard. Let me see. Yoga. Yoga. Yoga is hello, if I'm not wrong. In one of the so many languages you have. Who is understanding what I'm saying? Yoga. It's a greeting. Yes. I believe it says hello. So you'll interact with different people the way I've interacted with the PyCon Africa crew, learn new things. Why PSL? So when my talk got accepted, I looked at Uganda. We have a database of all the PSLs in Planet Earth and maybe Mars. I looked at Uganda. Uganda doesn't have any PSL. So like I said while I wrote the proposal to be funded for this event, my selling point was, you know what? Uganda doesn't have any PSL, so let me go there, spread some API literacy and joy. And then they accepted because the PSL in Uganda is one who already has moved to the next step. He's working at Stanbic Holding Company in Uganda. I've reached out to him in the morning. I wanted him to do this session, not me. I already done mine. So I want next year when we come for the real PyCon Africa, I want to see guys in the navy blue hoodies, like how the GitHub guys have been here with their jerseys and their red. GitHub has rejected me 3 times. 3 times, 3 years, and they take twice in a year. So that's 3 times 6. It hardened my heart, so rejection doesn't hit me that bad. So I want to start I want PyCon Africa. Yeah, sir. You start a community on API. I believe I'm done. Oh, any question? I've talked a lot. Any question? Any question?
Yeah. Questions, comments? Yeah. You can just raise your hand.
Any question?
Yeah. Okay.
For a
Like I said-
shot?
Yeah, I had mine.
Yes.
Where you spoke of, can you elaborate more on JWT and just like
JWT and OAuth.
yeah, just something small about it.
Okay.
Are you answering that first?
You just ask.
If I want to forget my question. Okay, my question is like, you explained to us what an API is, and then you gave us this example of like, let me say the Instagram platform communicating with the native camera, like for taking a picture or video. So, does that mean that like it doesn't have to be some server somewhere for me to be able to communicate with an API, or there is some kind of server client, like in this scenario of Instagram communicating with my phone? Who is the server, who is the client, if it is necessary to be
Okay.
there?
Okay, there are 2. JWT and web and OAuth. On JWT is used for authentication, whereby for authentication to happen, there's a token, a JSON web token that has to be generated and stored in the cache of the browser, which will remember like this guy has signed in or logged into this service. it usually expires. Developers usually put it to expire after some time, where best practices and stuff. OAuth, OAuth, we have an OAuth dance in Postman, whereby have the social logins. Google, Guitar, Apple ID. I've never used an iPhone, but I have photos in an iPhone, Facebook, and the rest. This is where OAuth comes. OAuth, it will authenticate you, but it doesn't give the Apple Music your personal information. It just gives them an access, like, you know what? You have this access. This is the person and stuff. This is details like the name of the person, the DP of the Gmail account if he has. It doesn't give him all the personal information. It's like the best analogy that we can use is a valet driver. I believe we have Sarova somewhere. I don't know if they have a valet driver. Valet driver have a valet key in bigger countries, not third world, maybe first class countries. The valet driver has a key to that car. He can start the car, but he can't drive the car very far away. It will switch off. But I know in Uganda and Kenya, if that happens, hey, somebody can hack it. You'll be driving off with your cars. So you find somebody driving a Porsche Cayenne and giving the key to someone and say, what? You go park it. He's going to park it. So going to park it, he drives it to the parking. He can't drive that car past very far. That's the best analogy of OAuth that we use in our program. So on authentication, the best that I can advise as a developer is usually OAuth. OAuth 2.0. The previous one was OAuth 1.8. OAuth 1 or 0.1 or something. I'm not sure, but I remember. The previous one was a bit complex for a developer and also for the infrastructure and stuff. But OAuth 2, it's very simple. It uses HTTP protocols, so it's very simple and understandable. And you can use it in multiple. You're even giving the users an easier way for them to authenticate instead of using email and password. You can't tell me you're using email and password and every place like has a different password. It's very hard for you to manage all those passwords, even though you're using an authenticator not an authenticator, you're using a password manager. So OAuth is very nice. And that's all. Let me ask you a trigger question. A trigger question. Do you use an authenticator application?
Yes.
If somebody deletes your authenticator application, what can you do? It's just a trigger question.
Like for me, the way GitHub did it for me, I registered an authenticator app. I actually had an app on phone. I had an extension in Chrome. I also have two-factor with my phone.
You have a backup of a backup of a backup.
Yeah.
You're prepared. My friend doesn't have a backup.
Even my codes, like recovery codes,
You've already stored them.
if everything fails,
That's very nice. I love the way you can secure things. my friend, when somebody deletes that application, have you ever tried calling AWS for them to reset your to FS? I've suffered. Thank you for listening. For the shots. Oh, your question. Yeah. So, you're a web developer. Okay. So, like, there is something called PYD Fire. It's a progressive web application APIs. APIs in a way that they interact with the phone itself. People in Kotlin and Java and stuff, they usually say you're building a cloud native application, whereby it's tapping to the resources of the phone. That's how, like, an API is not simply just having a client and a server somewhere. It's that communication. Later on, we usually say APIs are all about communication. So for you, for the analogy that I gave about the Instagram and I like mine explaining everything. Okay, the Instagram and the phone and the camera of the phone, like that's a connection. So it makes it an API. So in the PWA used to create progressive web apps, like you can interact with the battery percentage of your phone, the signal of your phone, the camera, the finger sensors. That's an API. You can also exploit. It was made by Edwin. I believe Edwin is a Kenyan who is a GDE, PWA file. I believe I'm done, and I do love how Ugandans speak English. It's very nice. This was me saying PyCon Africa was nice. First time coming to Uganda, I had 2 workshops. My morning workshop was very nice. So love you. Hope we host PyCon Africa next time, and the love continue. You're so welcoming. I love the way you're feeding me. I prefer relocating to this place and work remotely. Thank you. Have a rest of the nice day. Thank you.